The idea of boarding a plane often comes with a sense of urgency. The announcement calls for your group, people rush to grab their carry-ons, and the queue stretches down the jet bridge. But have you ever considered the benefits of being the last person to board? Surprisingly, this approach has its advantages, and today, we'll uncover 6 reasons why you might want to wait until the very last call to step onto that aircraft. By the end of this journey, you may find yourself rethinking your usual boarding habits. Imagine this. The gate agent has already announced final boarding, the hurried crowd has dissipated, and the plane is almost ready to taxi. In these quiet moments, you stroll down the jet bridge without stress, your boarding pass ready, and your pace calm. There's no rush, no pressure, no elbowing your way through a line. The sense of peace alone can transform your travel experience. Number 1. Reduce stress. The first thing to consider is the sheer reduction in stress. Think back to the chaotic moments when passengers scramble for overhead bin space or line up for the plane as though it's a race to claim the best seat. Boarding last allows you to bypass the hustle entirely. Everyone else has already stowed their belongings and found their seats. You're not stuck waiting in the aisle, watching others wrestle with their bags or jostle past each other. You simply step on board, make your way to your seat, and settle in. No rush, no fuss. Boarding last allows you to avoid the chaos of the boarding process. You won't have to wait in long lines or navigate crowded aisles, giving you a calm and hassle-free experience. Number 2. Extra time for families. For families or those who travel with young children, boarding last can also have unexpected perks. If you're traveling with children, boarding last gives you extra moments for them to stretch, move around, or expend energy before being confined to a seat. If you're traveling with a little one, every extra moment spent outside the confined space of the airplane cabin can feel like a gift. Let your child stretch their legs, expend some energy, or simply enjoy the relative freedom of the airport gate area. You're essentially trading a bit of pre-boarding anxiety for a smoother experience once you're finally seated. Number 3. Cleaner cabin experience. Let's not forget about cleanliness. Planes are high-touch environments, and those who board first come into contact with surfaces that may not have been cleaned since the last flight. By boarding last, you reduce your exposure to surfaces touched by multiple passengers before you. Additionally, the cabin crew might have tidied up certain areas left unclean by earlier passengers. When you board last, again, there's a good chance the flight attendants have had a moment to address any visible cleanliness concerns left by the previous passengers. While this isn't guaranteed, you might notice that late boarding can sometimes mean stepping onto a slightly fresher cabin environment. Number 4. Flexibility with seating. Another reason to consider is the flexibility of seating options. Late boarding may reveal unoccupied seats or even allow for last-minute upgrades, especially on less crowded flights. This could mean extra legroom or an aisle seat you didn't originally book. While most passengers have assigned seats, late boarding occasionally offers opportunities to switch. Flights that are not completely full may have open rows or better seats that have gone unclaimed. The flight crew, seeing an empty seat near the back or in an exit row, might offer it to you. These last-minute upgrades or adjustments can make a surprising difference in your comfort during the flight. Number 5. Avoiding mishandled carry-ons. And then, there's the potential for avoiding mishandled carry-on luggage. If overhead bins refill, gate agents may offer to check your carry-on bag for free. This spares you the stress of finding bin space and reduces the burden of handing your luggage on board. When you're the last to board, you'll know whether the overhead bins are full before you even set foot on the plane. If the bins are at capacity, gate agents will often offer to check your carry-on bag for free. This might save you from the hassle of finding bin space and give you one less item to worry about during boarding. It's an often overlooked benefit of being the last in line. Of course, there are also moments where boarding last could work against you. If you're on a particularly full flight, finding bin space for a larger carry-on might be tricky. But even this potential downside has a silver lining, the ability to travel lighter. Choosing to board last might encourage you to pack more thoughtfully, bringing only what fits under your seat. This not only streamlines the boarding process, but also makes deplaning quicker and less stressful. Number 6. Psychological advantage. Beyond practicality, boarding last can also grant you a unique psychological advantage. The act of traveling is stressful enough: security checks, navigating the airport, and waiting in line at the gate. Boarding last allows you to reclaim some sense of control in an otherwise rigid process. It's a small act of defiance against the hurry-up-and-wait routine that airports often impose. And speaking of reclaiming control, let's talk about the element of privacy. When you're among the first to board, you're essentially seated as the rest of the passengers file past. This means hundreds of strangers brushing by your aisle, possibly bumping your armrest, and scanning your row as they pass. By boarding last, you avoid being in the path of every other traveler and can simply walk onto a mostly full plane without feeling like you're part of a parade. Throughout this exploration of the benefits, it's worth emphasizing that boarding last isn't just about convenience, it's a mindset. By stepping away from the frantic boarding process, you allow yourself to focus on the journey rather than the stress of getting there. You also grant yourself the gift of perspective, choosing to approach air travel with a sense of calm rather than being swept up in the chaos of the crowd. Let's also quickly look at a few reasons why you may want to disagree with the pros of boarding last. Number 1. Overhead bin space may be full. This is usually one concern why people rush to board first. By the time you board, most passengers have already stowed their carry-ons. This could leave little to no space in the overhead bins, forcing you to gate-check your bag or place it under the seat in front of you. Number 2. Limited time to settle in. Boarding last can leave you feeling rushed to find your seat, stow belongings, and prepare for takeoff, especially if flight attendants are urging passengers to settle quickly. Number 3. Possibility of missing announcements. Airlines often make critical announcements during the early stages of boarding. By waiting until the last call, you may miss information about seating adjustments, gate changes, or safety protocols. Number 4. Risk of missing the flight. Waiting to board until the final call increases the risk of being late if there are unexpected delays or miscommunications. This could result in a stressful race to the gate or missing your flight entirely. But again, you have to always stay close to your boarding gate to avoid this. Number 5. Fewer opportunities to request help. Passengers who board earlier have more time to request assistance from flight attendants, whether it's about stowing luggage, arranging seating, or addressing special needs. Boarding last might limit these opportunities. While the advantages of boarding last can provide a more relaxed and flexible travel experience, the disadvantages highlight the importance of balancing convenience with preparedness. Whether you choose to board early or late, understanding the pros and cons will help you make the best decision for your journey. As we've discussed, there are multiple reasons to consider boarding last. From avoiding stress and maximizing flexibility to enjoying a more relaxed and hygienic experience, this simple shift in perspective can transform the way you approach air travel. So, next time you're at the gate, take a moment to observe the frenzy of boarding. Then, let the crowd fade away as you wait for the final call, knowing that you've made a choice that aligns with a smoother, calmer travel experience. Let this idea percolate in your mind as you prepare for your next journey. You may just find that stepping onto the plane last doesn't mean losing out. It could mean gaining an entirely new way of traveling. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to Travel Destination TV. And do not forget to turn on the notification bell for more inspiring videos. Drop your comments below, let us know your thoughts.